I've never understood street preachers, people who set up a soapbox on a street corner and think anyone is going to pay any attention to them at all. Invariably, anyone who does stop to listen is only doing it to jeer at the apologist's stupidity. I doubt they've ever gotten any serious converts to their cause, and they really just make themselves and their beliefs look stupid. But here's one such idiot who wants to explain that there are two types of atheists, and he has no clue what any of them are actually like.
There's two types of atheists. There's the atheist who uses their brain and looks at all the evidence and says, you know what, I don't believe that. And then there's the other type of atheist who doesn't use their brain whatsoever and just says, I don't believe in God because I was told in a science lesson.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, there are more than two types of atheists. You can have atheists who are default atheists, people who've never even considered the question of religion because they either haven't encountered it or haven't found it to be worth even thinking about. They neither reject nor affirm religion, they simply ignore it. But, alright, I guess I'll go with your premise, two types of atheists. Please continue.
So what type of atheist are you?
Well, I would be the first type, the kind that know all about religion, who have studied religion, who used to be religious and took it very seriously, and then discovered that it's all a load of nonsense and rejected it for cause.
I've got some questions. If you'd like to answer them, then go ahead.
Okay, I can do that. Ask me your questions, Bridgekeeper. I am not afraid.
Okay. First question is this. Now, very simple for the atheists going by. Very simple question. Can you do maths now?
Yes, I can do math. Get on with it.
What is 0 plus 0?
That would be 0. Now, of course, Christians seem to think that 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1, so I don't know if you have the mathematical acumen to know what real addition is.
So if you're an atheist going by, can anyone answer this question for me? What is 0 plus 0? Can anyone work that out for me? It's 0, isn't it?
Yes, we know that. That still doesn't answer why you think 1 plus 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 3.
Okay, so we know that 0 plus 0 equals 0. So how can you say if there is no God, in the beginning there was nothing there was no designer, no creator, so how do we get a universe from nothing?
You tell me, because you're the one holding that position. Your own silly book of mythology says that God created everything out of nothing. Because I'll tell you, it doesn't matter if you start off with a magical creator. If they have no raw materials to create with, they're not going to create anything. They're just going to be standing there like an idiot waving their arms around. What's worse, you're suggesting that your God came from nowhere and has always just existed, all without any evidence, of course. So the math comes out even worse on your side, claiming that something has always existed who created everything with nothing.
We can't do it, can we? We can't get a universe from nothing.
Then why do you believe it happened that way? Science doesn't, of course, because it's unlikely that nothing ever existed in the first place. Now, we're still working it out, of course, but the complete lack of absolutely anything, that's highly unlikely to have ever happened.
Next thing about this, okay? Imagine now we hear a bang on the other side of that building, okay? Imagine we hear a really big, loud bang on the other side of that building. And you say to me, hey Joe, how did that bang start? Where did that bang come from?
Islamic terrorism? Well, you are in England, so that's pretty likely these days.
And I say, I don't know, maybe a gun went off, maybe a piano fell off the building, but something must have caused that bang.
What caused your God again? Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to bring that up, sorry.
Well, how can you say, for those of you who say you believe in the Big Bang, I don't personally believe in the Big Bang.
That's because you're a delusional idiot without a clue how reality works. You believe in an all-powerful imaginary man in the sky. Somehow, I don't think anyone with half a clue ought to take you all that seriously.
For those who say you believe in the Big Bang, where was the energy source? What caused it? Something must have gone bang.
We don't exactly know yet, and as the answer may lie outside of our universe, it is entirely possible that we will never know. We simply know that the universe did have a beginning, and we also know that there's no evidence of any kind whatsoever that there was anything supernatural associated with it. You're asking people to take an entirely unsupported leap of blind faith that simply cannot be supported by the evidence. No thanks.
For those of you stopping, I'm saying, are you an intelligent atheist? Now, I don't want to sound patronizing, I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who say they don't believe in God, and they don't really think seriously about these questions.
Except we do. The one not thinking intelligently is you. Because even if atheists had no answers at all, that doesn't give you a license just to make stuff up because it appeals to you emotionally. The only rational response would be, I don't know, and to keep looking for answers. The intelligent answer will never be, believe something because it feels good.
So my question to the atheist is, how can everything come from nothing?
Now, you notice how nobody walking by is taking this guy at all seriously. A recent survey in England shows that 52% of the people are not religious. This guy is fighting a battle that's already lost. Hopefully his next question will be more intelligent than his last, but I'm not holding my breath.
Here's the next question now. This is a question for you. If you're an atheist, if you'd like to chip in at any point, if you'd like to answer that, then please answer this question. Why do we have morals?
Because we're a social species that want to be treated well. Wow, that was pretty easy.
Let me put it another way to you, okay? How do you know that racism is wrong?
Well, right and wrong are subjective, but most people think racism is wrong because there's no reason whatsoever to suppose that one group of people is any better or worse than another group of people based solely on the color of their skin. It's an intellectually indefensible position to take. And you do know that the Old Testament was full of racism commanded by God, right? Oh yeah, shh.
So if you're an atheist going by, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. How do you know that racism is wrong?
Well, how do you know it's wrong? Because racism isn't one of the 10 Commandments or anything. God didn't say, thou shalt not be racist. I mean, he did command genocide on numerous occasions, and Christians have taken parts of the Old Testament as justification for race-based slavery, but I really can't see how questions can get from the Bible to racism being wrong at all.
Now don't just say in your mind, oh, of course it's wrong, right? How do you know it's wrong? Well, some of you might say, well, you know, racism makes one person feel really horrible, so if I'm racist to that person, it makes them feel bad, so we want to look after each other in society.
You're getting closer. It comes down to the source of all morality, enlightened self-interest. We want to be treated well, therefore we treat others well in hopes that they will reciprocate.
Well, what if the other person says that racism makes them feel good? Who's right and who's wrong? Who gets a better standard? Is one more important than the other?
That's up to society as a whole to determine. Again, there is no objective right or wrong. It's all determined collectively by society and culture. And luckily, most secular societies reject open racism and slavery and other similar things. It's only the religious cultures that seem to have those problems.
Just be so you know, I do believe racism is wrong.
Funny how he had to throw that in there. Why would anyone think that a religious person might be racist? Let me think.
The next thing is this. What if you say, okay, well, racism's wrong because society says it's wrong?
There you go. He stumbled blindly into the truth. Now let's see how long it takes for him to completely miss reality.
Well, what about 100 years ago in Nazi Germany?
Dude, Nazi Germany was not 100 years ago. It's not just math that you're really bad at. No wonder nobody's paying any attention to you.
Well, there was a society that came together and said, let's kill Jews, that's the right, correct thing to do.
And the rest of the planet, for numerous reasons, mind you, say, no, that's not acceptable. We're going to put a stop to it and hold those responsible accountable. And you know who the Nazis were? Christians! You know who supported the Nazis? The Catholic Church! You know who the Nazis persecuted among others? Atheists! So let's watch where we're pointing fingers here.
You see, we can't say that it's wrong because of society. We can't say it's wrong because of the individual. Do you know how we say it's wrong? The Bible says that God has written the law upon our hearts by giving us all a conscience.
And that's complete bullshit, because if it were true, then Nazi Germany could never have existed, because God has written the law, whatever that means, upon the hearts of Hitler and his followers, and they just knew that what they were doing was wrong. It doesn't work that way.
Of course it's evil to be racist. Of course it's evil to murder. Of course it's evil to do these things. We know that's wrong because God has given us a conscience. The final question I've got for the atheist is, who is Jesus Christ?
A character in a book of mythology that you take way too seriously.
Now, who do you think Jesus Christ is? What do you think when you hear the name Jesus? What's the first thing you hear about Jesus?
Delusion. Because there's no objective evidence that Jesus ever existed, and certainly none that this man-god individual that you believe in was ever real.
Did you know this now? Did you know that Jesus healed thousands of people?
Well, that's the story. Now go ahead and produce evidence to prove that the story is true. But again, these people aren't interested in what's actually true. They only care what makes them feel good.
Jesus used to heal people. But you know what's really funny, okay? This is really crazy. Jesus was the one person who could heal people, but you know what this world did to him? They killed him.
This is just as silly as saying, you know who the one person who could fly on a broom was? Harry Potter. And you know what they did to him? Voldemort killed his parents. These are all just empty assertions made without any objective evidence. Stories pulled from an ancient book of mythology that nobody should take seriously.
Now how does that make sense?
How does it make any sense that the chosen one, the one who lived, should have his parents killed in front of him? How does it make any sense that Harry Potter would have to fight he who shall not be named? I mean, really?
If there's a guy who's around who's healing loads of people, you think he's the one person you want to keep alive, and yet people killed him. Do you know why they killed him?
Because it's part of the myth?
Because the Bible says men love darkness more than light, and Jesus was the light of the world.
This is what happens when you take mythology seriously. There's no evidence that any of this actually happened in reality. It's a story. Read a clue.
Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came into this world and he bled and died on a cross for your sins. Now you might think you're a nice person, you might think, I'm good enough to get to heaven. But you do things every day that are wrong.
I'm just wondering what that guy in the background is doing. Is he stealing stuff out of this guy's bag? Did he put a sign on the back of the board calling this guy an idiot? I mean, really, inquiring minds want to know.
You know that time when you looked at something that you shouldn't have?
There is literally nothing that you can look at that you shouldn't, except maybe classified state secrets. But religion spends a lot of time trying to make you feel guilty about things that aren't even wrong. Religion invents imaginary crimes and then tries to sell you the cure to a disease that isn't even real.
And, no one saw it, but you know what you did. Is that really a good thing to do?
Believe any of the crap you're peddling? No. So why do you do it?
Do you know that spouse you've got, that husband or wife, who God's given that person to you?
People are not something that can be given as a gift. But since the Bible demonstrably supports and defends slavery, I can see where you'd make that mistake.
And you're supposed to love them, and yet every day you make them feel like rubbish.
What kind of crappy husband are you? Because I don't make my wife feel like rubbish, but then again, Christians have a higher rate of divorce by and large than atheists do, so,
Is that really a good thing to do?
No, which is why I don't do it. But I don't need your imaginary friend or ridiculous book of mythology to act like a decent human being. Why do you?
What about this body that you've been given to yourself? God has given you a healthy body.
Nobody gave my body to me. I was born of an entirely natural act, and anything that's happened to my body since that time has been entirely my doing or the doing of nature and reality. No imaginary friends had anything to do with it.
And some of you want to smoke and kill yourselves. Is that really a good thing to do?
Nope, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs. In fact, I've been far healthier as an atheist than I ever was as a Christian. Go figure.
What about all the times? What about all the times you've said nasty, horrible things to people?
If I've said nasty, horrible things to people, they've deserved it. They actually earned it. Now, of course, I don't go running around telling people that they deserve to burn for all eternity because they hurt the precious widow fee-wings of an imaginary being in the sky. Why do you do that?
People who are just as important as you are, and you tore them to pieces with your tongue. Is that really a good thing to do? You see, Jesus Christ became all of that sin, became all of those horrible things you've done, and he was nailed to a cross so that you could be made right in God's eyes.
Yet, apparently, we still sin, we still do all those horrible things, and we still have to beg for the forgiveness of the immoral monster that you bow down to, or he'll torture us for all time, because he's a sick, sadistic bastard. And you want me to take any of that seriously? Why?
He was sacrificed for you there. Will you accept his sacrifice?
Prove there was a sacrifice. Provide evidence. Let me know when you can.
Will you come before Jesus and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done these things wrong. I shouldn't have looked at that things. Maybe there's someone going by who's committed adultery. Maybe there's someone going by today who's beaten someone up before. And all these things, Jesus died on a cross for your sins.
Prove it. Prove there are any such things as sins. Prove Jesus ever existed. Prove God. Prove anything. All you're doing is standing there like a blithering idiot, ranting about irrational nonsense that you have no evidence for whatsoever. And again, why should I take anything you say seriously?
Now let me just put one more challenge to you. What would you think of me if I said to you, Harry Potter is a terrible book?
You are welcome to your opinions. I just don't care. It's just a book. So what would you think if I said the Bible was a terrible book? Well, lots of Christians would freak the hell out. If you tried that with the Quran in the Middle East, you'd very likely get yourself very dead. Funny how atheists react versus how the religious react, huh?
Okay, what would you think if I said Harry Potter is the worst book in the world, but what would you think of me?
Don't care. Means absolutely nothing to me.
Well, you might agree with me, but what if I said Harry Potter's a terrible book, but I've never read it before? Then what would you think of me?
Then you'd be an ignorant idiot. But the fact is, most atheists, and I'm talking about educated, intelligent atheists, have read the Bible. We know what's in there. Probably more than you do. And we reject your beliefs for cause. We know what you believe. We've studied what you believe. We just find what you believe to be utterly idiotic.
Well, you think, well, yeah, read it first. Read it and then make a judgment. Don't say the Bible is a load of rubbish without reading it first. If anyone would like to take a portion of the Bible, I'm giving it absolutely for free. Please take one from my hand. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. I'm not a nasty person. If anyone wants to take that, you're very welcome to. I'm going to stop there. May God really bless you.
You know, last I looked, I had 11 Bibles of various translations. And then you can look at my Qurans, the Book of Mormon, the Vedas, Dianetics, books from Mary Baker Eddy, and books from a dozen other religions and religious persuasions that I've read and found to be universally garbage. I don't need your pamphlet. I've read the whole thing. I know it's bunk.
Yes, he loves you anyway.
There's that guy again. This time he's taking things off the Rambling Lunatic's board. Is he supposed to be that guy's partner or something? Or is he someone who just wants this loudmouth moron to go away? I'm actually kind of curious. Anyway, preachers on the street corner are no better, and usually quite a bit worse, than preachers in front of a congregation. At least those people are preaching to the choir, who already take the crazy things they say seriously. Here, they fail constantly and laughably, and they just make their beliefs look bad, which of course they are. So, What say you, people of internet land? Did anything this guy said have any validity whatsoever? Let me know in the comments. I kind of doubt this guy is going to fare well.
Everything changes.